welcome to our English news edition brought to you on Canal Algérie. To the major headlines. The President of the Republic instructs the increase of the solidarity allowance in favor of vulnerable families while chairing the Council of Ministers meeting. During a working and inspection visit to the Land Forces Command, the Army General Saeed Chingareha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, hails the President's keynote speech addressed to the UN Security Council. And a collective iftar meal is offered to the foreign students of Constantine University as a token of solidarity during this blessed month of Ramadan. Good evening and welcome back. First in our news, the President of the Republic chaired a meeting of the Council of Ministers during which he instructed the increase of the solidarity allowance destined to the vulnerable families in addition to other key issues unveiled in this report compiled by Melissa Kovash.
The President of the Republic kicked off the meeting by listening to items included in the agenda. The Prime Minister then presented the outcome of the government's activity for the past 2 weeks. The President gave the following guidelines. With regard to the justice and solidarity sector and the measures to obtain alimony for divorced women, the President ordered a review of the draft law with a view to enrich it further, taking into consideration the following orientations. The Fund for Divorced Women should remain under the supervision and authority of the Ministry of Justice. The implementation of the fund management, measures and procedures at the local level is also the responsibility of the Justice Ministry. The President ordered the review of the Solidarity Grant for needy families, currently estimated at 3,000 dinars, in continuation of the path of preserving the dignity of our citizens and protecting the purchasing power. Regarding the granting of economic real estate belonging to private property of the state destined for investment projects, the President of the Republic ordered the preparation of 3 draft presidential decrees regulating the distribution of economic, touristic and urban real estate. The establishment, organization and operation of industrial zones should be within a new vision that attracts investment, including private one. A distinction should be made between economic, tourism and urban investment managed by real estate agencies, each separately, in order to preserve transparency and achieve economic efficiency. Prepare a presentation by the Minister of Housing and the Council of Ministers related to the further prospects of the new city of Boukzoul in order to begin its construction and exploit it efficiently, as it remained soulless since the beginning of the project decades ago. Regarding the digitization of the state property, tax and customs services, the President emphasized that the aim of digitization is not to modernize administrative transactions, which are considered a foregone conclusion in this field, but it is a matter of a national security issue and serving the citizens' interests. The immediate and urgent establishment of an Algerian data bank by the Finance Ministry in order to facilitate the various departments of the state when it comes to their functions and performing their duties towards citizens in the best effective manner. The President ordered both Ministers of Finance and Digitization to implement the digitization project and the sectors mentioned within 6 months as a first stage before comprehensive digitization. Reliance in achieving the vital goal for the state on the best experts, national competencies and study offices internationally. Regarding the progress of the file of opening Capital Public Bank, the President stressed the principle of transparency in order to initiate financial reform and keep pace with the global transformations in this sector, which is the pillar of the national economy. Accelerate the process of opening the Capital Public Banks in a scientific and carefully studied manner, motivating a change in the old management pattern that is currently based on management rather than economic efficiency. Concerning a proposal on the housing bank and the opening of Algerian banks abroad, the President stressed the acceleration of the process of opening Algerian banks abroad with the completion of all procedures within a new effective economic approach. Rectify the delay in launching the housing bank by reducing the deadlines for its entry into service. At the end, the Council of Ministers approved a number of decrees related to the appointments and termination of duties of senior state officials.
In a different context, the Army General Said Shingiri, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, paid on Sunday a working and inspection visit to the headquarters of the Land Forces Command. More details with Ines Kalu.
After the welcoming ceremony, accompanied by Major General Muhammad Ammar Tamniya, commander of the land forces, the Army General observed a minute of silence in memory of the martyr Didush Morad, whose name is borne by the headquarters, and laid a wreath of flowers in front of his commemorative stele before reciting the Fatiha, or the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, in his memory and that of the valiant Shuhada. Then, during his meeting with the executives and personnel, the Army General gave an orientation speech, which was followed by the personnel of the units of the 6 military regions via video conference.
لقد أدركت الجزائر مبكرا أخطار الظاهرة الإرهابية وخلفياتها وأبعادها، وحذرت العالم برمته من نتائجها المدمرة.
Army General mentioned Algeria's early awareness of the risks and dimensions of the phenomenon of terrorism and warned the whole world of its harmful and devastating repercussions. Algeria has succeeded in its fight against terrorism and thwarted its project thanks to the rational exploitation of its capacities and the experience acquired by its people during the glorious liberation revolution. Past and current facts and events have shown and proven that combating this malicious scourge with the necessary seriousness and effectiveness remains in dire need of continuous concerted and coordinated efforts at the national, regional and even international levels. Army General also hailed the content of the speech of the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, which he delivered at the high-level debate of the United Nations Security Council, where he recalled Algeria's endeavor to support its neighbors and African countries in their fight against terrorism and violent extremism, guided in this by its successful experience.
ودول القارة الإفريقية في حربها ضد الإرهاب والتطرف العنيف، مسترشدة في ذلك بتجربتها المريرة والناجحة في ذات الوقت. وفي ذات السياق تندرج المبادرات التي تقدمت بها الجزائر بهدف إضفاء
In this context, Army General reiterated Algeria's willingness to give a new dynamic to counter-terrorism efforts in the Sahel and Saharan region, approved in October 2022 by the member countries of the Joint Operational Staff Committee, which includes Algeria, Mali, Mauritania and Niger. He also stressed that this mechanism has adopted a strategy that aims, first and foremost, for each country to take charge of the fight against the terrorist threats in its national territory, relying essentially on its own capacities and means, while being part of a collective dynamic based on joint efforts, coordination and mutual aid, and which exclude any form of foreign interference under the guise of the fight against terrorism, since the latest developments in the region have shown that this approach is a failure.
أساسها تضافر الجهود والتنسيق والتعاون المتبادل والابتعاد على أي شكل من أشكال التدخل الأجنبي بحجة مكافحة الإرهاب، لأنها مقاربة أثبت التطورات الأخيرة الحاصلة في المنطقة فشلها الذريع.
At the end, Army General chaired a working meeting in the presence of the heads of departments and executives of the land forces, where he followed a presentation by the commander of the land forces on the measures and provisions undertaken within the framework of the forces preparation program for the year 2022-2023. On this occasion, Army General gave a series of instructions and orientations concerning, in particular, the need to ensure the continuation of combat preparation efforts for units and individuals in accordance with the plans and programs adopted, while providing all appropriate professional and living conditions for the personnel to enable them to perfectly perform the tasks assigned to them.
And Algeria will proceed to a voluntary reduction of its quota of oil production of 48,000 barrels per day. This decision, which will come into effect from next May, was taken in coordination with some OPEC member countries and its allies, according to the Ministry of Energy and Mines. It is also a preventive measure in addition to the production cut agreed at the 33rd OPEC non-OPEC ministerial meeting held on last October. And as a token of solidarity during this blessed month of Ramadan, the University of Constantine in Algeria organized a collective iftar meal to the benefit of foreign students who appreciated this lofty initiative and the cozy atmosphere in which it took place. Najahtiya reports.
It is in an atmosphere of synergy marked by solidarity, exchanges and joy. More than 440 foreign students of 27 nationalities shared a collective iftar meal at the level of Ain al-Bay University Residence 3 of Constantine as a part of the international student sponsorship by the Algerian government. It is a very good Ramadan atmosphere. We had a good time. We shared our culture and immersed ourselves in those of others. I really like this collective iftar. We prepared a Mauritanian dish and gave it to our friends. You have very good dishes like shakshuka and also desserts as qalb al-luz and slabia. Organized by the Higher Education and Scientific Research Ministry as a part of the new approach strategy aimed at attracting more foreign students to Algeria. More than 6,700 foreign students of 161 nationalities follow their university course in Algeria. This is an opportunity for universities to compete with each other to attract the greatest number of foreign students to integrate to the Algerian universities. Solidarity, sharing and friendship between Algerian and foreign students characterized this collective meal. Others are programmed throughout the whole month of Ramadan, which are a part of the promotion of the National University in accordance with the motto, Study in Algeria.
In a new development, the Palestinian Prisoners Club alerts on the health of the detainee Adnan Khader, aged 44, who continues his hunger strike for the 57th consecutive day. He is protesting against his detention for 20 years without any charges or trial by the Zionist occupation authorities. Adnan is now in a clinic in Ramallah prison and is suffering from a serious deterioration regarding his health. In Morocco, high prices and the inflation have reached unprecedented records during Ramadan, overburdening the already tired population who keep taking to the streets in order to denounce the policy of the Makhzen regime. Report by Najah Diyar.
Unbelievable rise in prices of the necessary foodstuffs mark this blessed month in Morocco. Flour, oil and sugar and more other products have become out of reach for the Moroccan population. We are in 2023 and Morocco is still lagging behind. We are in a dire situation. Imagine, for 8 months, 120 employees could not find what to eat, while the government is still turning a deaf ear. We are starving together with our children. I call on Makhzen to pay attention to us. We are starving and we are really suffering. I am very sick and it has been 8 months now. I barely find what to eat. The difficult circumstances and the galloping inflation that is harshly affecting the Moroccan people pushed them to denounce the injustice of the Makhzen. We've been starving for 8 months. Now we break fast with a date, bread and tea. This is a huge injustice. There is no salary. This is like punishment for me and my family. I have 4 kids and how am I supposed to pay their food and study expenses? They got sick too. If it was only me, I'd rather die than to live in these conditions. Repressions and violations. Nothing seems to be capable to stop the Moroccans from demanding their rights with these legal demonstrations, blaming the Makhzen that's held responsible for the precarious living conditions of the population.
To sports now. Algeria's sole representative in the CAF Confederation Cup contest, USM Algiers, progressed to the next stage following their 4-1 victory over the Libyan side of Al Akhdar in their last game of Group A, held at the 5th of July Olympic Stadium here in Algiers. Good luck for USMA in the upcoming competitions. And to wrap up our news with this celestial music performed by Al Fidra Al Bishariya musical band as part of celebrating these nights of the blessed Ramadan. Enjoy, take care, and goodbye.